400,000. 400,000 people watched the video I'm about to show you and thought it was brilliant.
If you are such a loving, powerful, good God, why do you do nothing about the suffering, poverty, evil in this world?
Do you think you are a good person?
Yes, of course.
Then why, when I have given you enough power, food, money to help others, have you done nothing?
All right, so the topic at hand is a good one. It's the problem of suffering. When we look around at our world and see the immense amount of human suffering, we then ask, if a God exists, why is he not doing anything? Why is he not stopping the suffering? And this person responds with deflection. He responds by changing the subject. Because the question is directed at an omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent God. And his response is not to address that, but instead to say, where were you, human? But it doesn't matter where the human was. Because we're not talking about the human right now. We're talking about the God. Even if we want to buy into the idea that a single human is as responsible to fix a broken system as an all-powerful God, that human's failure to act does not excuse God's failure to act. This deflective argument is like the cosmic version of a kid who failed to do his chores, and when caught, he's pointing to his sibling and saying, yeah, well, he didn't do them either. Okay. The fact that your sibling failed to do his chores does not excuse you failing to do yours. And we're not talking about your sibling right now. We're talking about you. And in the same vein, we're not talking about humans right now. We're talking about a God. This was a nice, preachy, emotional deflection, but a deflection nonetheless.
Why, when I have given you enough power, food, money to help others, have you done nothing? Is that a good person?
What can I do? I can barely survive as it is.
And whose fault is that? Have others with less not done more?
Have you been such a wise steward of your time, so selflessly generous, so fiscally responsible, or have you squandered it away?
I love the argument that starts this clip. If you have all the power to fix something and you don't, then you're not good. Yeah, you don't say, God. It's just, yeah, you made the argument for us. Thank you. It's just all you've done is try to deflect it to the other person. So at most, the logical end to this argument is that we are equally as bad. God is just as bad as humans. And that's if you don't take into consideration any of the power or privilege. Because he basically just transformed conservative economic policy into an ethical argument about God. Trickle-down ethics, as it were. Here, let me put it another way. Hey, Elon Bezos, my friends over here can't afford to eat because you won't pay them a living wage. What's the deal, man? And where have you been? You get a paycheck. Why are you not helping them? Yeah, man, I can't, fix a systemic issue, you know? I can be charitable and make them dinner a couple times a week, but that's not gonna, fix systemic poverty, you know, man? And I'm definitely not gonna fix systemic poverty on my wages. I'm only making 30 cents an hour more than the people on food stamps over there. Mere excuses. My buddy Bill started from the garage and is now a billionaire. You could do it too if you really wanted to. And there you go. It's just bootstrap theological ethics. Just like on Earth, when you challenge the people who actually have the power to fix the system, they're going to deflect to you. They're going to say, why aren't you doing more with what little you have? Ignore my vast stores of wealth. And in the same way, this guy is defending the inaction of an all-powerful, all-knowing God by saying, what are you doing, poor human? You should be able to bootstrap the solution to a systemic issue.
I have made you in my image, and yet you convince yourself that you are powerless? You know deep down inside that thousands of people are waiting for you to live up to your potential, and yet you throw it all away. I gave you a back to carry weight, not turn it on them. You think you're angry? I am enraged when I see you squander away your potential where thousands of people are waiting for you to cultivate.
Oh man, God seems really shocked and angry for being all-knowing and knowing this was gonna happen. Because that's the crux of this, right? I mean, the whole point of this part of his little skit is that God's whole plan for fixing human suffering is humans. He put potential in us. He created us in his image. Not all-powerful, not all-knowing, not omnipresent, but with the ability to think and find a solution. So therefore, it's on us to fix this, because we were created as tools to fix this system. But once again, God's all-knowing. So he knew when he created us that this entire thing would happen, that there would be this immense amount of human suffering, and also that we, as humans, would not be able to fix it. And yet he put the entire system in motion anyways. So why would he be angry at us for failing to live up to potential he knew we never would? Why on earth is he the one who gets to be angry? Humans are the ones who are suffering under the weight of his failed system that he knew would fail before he created us. I mean, I'm impressed by the emotional heights this apologist got to, but, it is just gaslighting.
If I answered your prayer and got rid of all this evil, have you ever stopped to think that I might just start with you?
For fuck's sake.
I let evil persist because I love you. Because I believe in you. I trust that one day you'll stop sinning. And that you'll do what is right. Not because it's easy, but because it's the right thing to do. Carry your cross.
Okay, so we're just going to conflate evil and suffering. Cool. That's fine. I am so tired of the lack of imagination. Do you know how many times I have to listen to Christians say this? Oh, you want God to stop evil? Well, then he'll just have to kill everybody. Is that what you want? Why? Why does he have to murder people to stop human suffering? Why is murder the only tool in God's toolbox? For fuck's sake, God, watch a couple gentle parenting videos. There's a lot on TikTok. You have more tools than violence, especially when you are all-powerful. God didn't have to murder the lions to stop Daniel from being eaten by them. And in the same way, God would not have to murder every human to stop human suffering. Even Harry Potter knew you didn't have to go straight to the death curse. I mean, the fact that they have so little imagination around this shows me so vividly that this is a man-made religion. It's so obviously made by humans who are not all-powerful and do not have those abilities. They've made God in their own image. He does what they would do, which is just kill them, wipe them out, because we can't do anything else. That said, this idea that God allows evil and suffering to exist in the world because he loves us is so incredibly toxic and manipulative. Though he doesn't expressly say it, usually the idea behind this is that God has to allow suffering in order to give us the time to turn to him. We need to turn from our ways. We need to be humble. We need to repent, and God is giving us time. Once again, this argument is based on the flawed notion that the only solution God has to evil is to end it all, to wipe us all out. But there are so many other options for an all-powerful God. Hell, why not just make it impossible? God supposedly created the world, which means he created the laws of nature. We are, as humans, constrained by the laws of nature. I cannot flap my arms and fly. So why couldn't God have made it impossible for someone to rape a child? He wouldn't have had to kill a single person in order to make that impossible. For all the theatrics of this video, it is not logical in any way. It was merely a giant deflection disguised in emotion. And we are still left with the same unanswered question. Why does God sit back and watch the suffering of humans when he could stop it? The answer to that question cannot be found by blaming humans.
To add to this creator, the Christian response is going to be free will. This deity gave us free will to be able to choose him or to choose not him. But that free will is not necessarily a real thing as far as the Christian belief system goes, because you do not have free will when you only have the choice to love this God or to be punished by this God. And we see this as a repetitive theme within this book, where every time the Israelites don't do any of the maniacal things that this deity desires for them to do, he punishes them through slavery or through stoning or through conquering or some sort of evil that he perpetuates onto the people or have the people perpetuate onto themselves. So it's really like this is a puppeteering show that this deity has created and is taking the other creator is taking the blame away from this all-powerful God who, if he desired to create a perfect world, could have easily created a perfect world, since you have all the power to do that. And you demonstrated that you will control the minds of people when you took away Pharaoh's free will to let the children of Israel go when he initially wanted to, but you said that you would harden his heart. So you have taken his free will, and none of us, according to your book, has free will, because our only choice is you or damnation. it just shows that this was man's attempt to create a God and give reason for why negative things happen in the world. It's all make-believe.